Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to catch a butterfly, the faster it flies away? You can chase it across a garden, ruin a perfectly good pair of shoes, and yet the moment you stop running and stand still, it often lands right on your shoulder. Men over 60, believe it or not, operate on the same psychological wavelength. But here's the secret most relationship advice for women our age won't tell you, because it was written for someone half our age and half our life experience. Men don't run from women who want love. Men my age run from women who chase the things that quietly kill respect. Dating after 60 is its own kind of strange territory. Denning between starting over after a divorce, learning to be alone after losing a partner, and figuring out what it even means to be available again. At this stage of life, it's completely natural to want to grab the wheel and make something happen. But today, I want to pull back the curtain from a man's side of the table. Going to tell you the truth, no polish, no sugarcoating, about 3 things that the moment you stop chasing them will make a man your age respect you more than he ever has. 1. Never chase his approval. There is a moment a lot of women my age never talk about. You catch your reflection in the hallway mirror right before he picks you up, and instead of asking yourself if you feel good, you ask a different question. Will he think I look good? That one shift from your own opinion to his is so small you barely notice it happening. I have watched women do this for decades, and I have done a version of it myself. Waiting for a man to confirm something you already knew before he walked in the room. A woman who needed me to tell her she was still interesting felt like a job I had to clock into every single day. Here is what nobody tells you about that kind of constant checking. It does not make a man feel closer to you. It makes him feel responsible for you. June, there is a real difference between those 2 things, and men feel that difference immediately, even when they cannot name it out loud. Mystery dies the moment you hand someone the full map of your insecurities on day 1. A man cannot wonder about a woman whose every mood depends on what he just said. He stops seeing a partner and starts seeing a task. By 60, most women have already survived enough to know who they are without a second opinion. That knowledge is not arrogance. It is decades of evidence. You raised children, buried parents, rebuilt a life more than once, and you are still standing here. That is not something a man's passing comment can confirm or take away. When a man sees a woman who already knows her own worth, something in him settles. He is no longer holding her steady. He gets to simply enjoy her. You stopped needing the mirror to ask his permission a long time ago. Let your face remember that. But knowing your own worth does not always protect you from the next trap. Sometimes the woman most sure of herself is the one most tempted to rush a man toward a title he is not ready to choose. 2. Never chase a label or commitment. Can I ask you something honest before we go further? When you meet a man you actually like at this age, how fast do you want to know what you are? A week, 2 weeks, the 4th date. I have watched women rush toward that question, and I understand the rush completely. You have buried a partner, or survived a divorce, or watched friends do both. Time feels shorter now. That fear is real, and it is not vanity. It is math. But here is what that fear does to a man on the other side of the table. It turns him from someone choosing you into someone being tested. He starts counting days instead of feeling something. He notices the shift before he can explain it. I think about commitment as a crown. Most good men at this age want to wear it eventually. They want the partnership. They want the steadiness. They want someone to grow old with on purpose, not by accident. But a man needs to feel he chose that crown himself. He cannot be handed it like an invoice with a due date attached. Asking what we are by the third dinner is one version of this. Mentioning a future he has not earned the right to picture yet is another. Bringing up a grandchild's wedding he has never met as if he is already family. Both of those, I promise you, register as pressure, not passion. A man can feel the difference between being wanted and being recruited. A woman who rushes the label is usually not afraid of him leaving. She is afraid of something quieter. She is afraid of running out of chances to try again if this one fails. At 25, that fear sounds dramatic. At 65, it sounds completely reasonable. I am not dismissing it. But that fear deserves compassion, not action. It deserves a conversation with yourself first, maybe with a friend who has been there. Not a conversation forced onto a man 3 weeks into knowing him. Address it on your own before you hand him the bill for it. A man worth keeping was never going to need a deadline to choose you. Letting go of the deadline is hard enough on its own. Gets even harder on the nights he goes quiet. And your phone feels heavier than it should. 3. Never chase his attention. Let me tell you about the worst version of myself, the one I do not bring up often. 2 years after my wife passed, I started seeing someone. Nothing serious yet, just dinners and phone calls. One Tuesday, she went quiet for 6 hours. I checked my phone 11 times. I am not exaggerating that number, because I counted, which tells you everything about the state I was in. I told myself I missed her. That was a lie I needed at the time. The truth came later, slower, and harder to admit. The house was quiet that day, in a way it had not been quiet in years. I was not missing her voice. I was avoiding my own silence, and she happened to be the nearest thing to point it at. That is the part nobody tells you about checking a phone too many times. It rarely means you love someone too much. It usually means a room in your life went empty, and you have not filled it yourself yet. Kids move out. A spouse passes. Friends scatter to different cities or different stages of grief. The space they leave behind does not disappear just because a new person walks in. Waits there quietly for someone to either fill it or hand it to someone else. Handing it to him feels like love. It is not love, it is outsourcing. A man can sense the difference between a woman who wants him and a woman who needs him so she does not have to feel alone. One draws him closer. The other quietly exhausts him. Here is the part I actually believe. The part this whole video stands on. Missing someone is healthy. Needing someone so the house stops feeling like a museum is a different problem entirely. And no man, however good, can fix that for you. Only you can. The silence was never his to solve. It was mine to sit with. 3 things, and underneath all of them, one same root. None of it was ever about him not loving you enough. It was about you not yet trusting that you already were enough. Good gallery never chases buyers down the street. It opens its doors, turns on the lights, and lets the work speak for itself. The right people walk in because they recognize what they are looking at. You are the gallery. 60 years of living, surviving, raising people, rebuilding rooms that fell apart. That is not a small collection. Most women I know just forgot to turn the lights on. Stopping the chase does not mean closing the door. It means standing in it, calm, lit from within, and letting a man walk towards something real instead of something running. A man your age does not need you to chase him. He needs you to already be whole. If you have a minute, tell me one thing. What is one thing you used to chase in love that you have finally let go of? I read every comment, and I would love to hear yours.